I got like 3 proposals every day, something like that. It was crazy.
And they talk about having a little monopoly on the platform. That's cool. So you feel that if you were just using GigRadar, probably it wouldn't have had the same result, but being able to have both GigRadar and Growth Manager, having like this kind of 1-2 punch really changed the game for you on Upwork, right?
Most freelancers who apply don't seem to read the cover letter, like the proposal at all.
Yeah, the key for sales is always just following up until you've pissed them off so much that they go with you
Right.
or blacklist. Hey everybody, welcome to the 5th GigRadar case study interview. Today we have with us Alejandro Rodriguez from Areia Consulting. Alejandro, hello. Please introduce yourself. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and some other short words.
Sure, thanks a lot. Well, I'm Alejandro from Spain. I've been on Upwork for 9 years now, so basically forever. And I run a web dev and marketing agency right now, and a lot of the success of my agency has come through Upwork and GigRadar, which is why I'm here today with that, and
Nice.
happy to be here.
All right, so regarding the structure of the call, I'm going to ask some Upwork general questions, and then we're going to transition towards GigRadar specific questions. Does the format of that work for you?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Fantastic. All right, so let's just get straight into it. So, Alejandro, how did you get started on Upwork, and why did you choose Upwork specifically?
So I was in networking event that was like 9 years ago, as I was saying, and I was trying to get started online. I didn't know how to start at all, and then I met somebody who was already on Upwork, and they told me like, dude, there's this place online where people post what they need, and you can just bid on jobs, and it's very easy to land a client. And this was 2015, so it was true that it was easy, or easier at least. And I just set up a profile, started messaging some clients, and got my first gig quite fast. And I've never looked back since.
So actually, I'm curious because like I talked to Volodymyr Hesko from Paxa, and he said like in 2016 it was like so easy. Like he was doing like just a bunch of random jobs, like video editing or like ad running, just like basically all over the place. I assume for you it was similar. Like when you were getting started, it was kind of you were like doing all sorts of different jobs, right? Like you didn't really like pick and choose. It was like
Well,
whatever.
actually, no, because I didn't have a lot of skills related to marketing or anything like that. So I was just fresh out of college, and I had no real work experience or anything like that. So I was focusing on writing, which was something that I really enjoyed since
Nice.
I was little. And basically, it was so easy. Like, I just searched for Spanish as a keyword, and there was no Spanish people on the platform. And I
Oh,
just landed a lot of clients writing in Spanish for them. And I was sending like no proposals at all. It was super easy.
you were getting more inbound leads than you were actually like having to send proposals out for.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's
Because
really
people
cool.
will look for a Spanish writer, and then apparently there was nobody else there, and it was just me. So I got like 3 proposals every day, something like that. It was crazy.
And they talk about having a little monopoly on the platform. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the first project you landed on Upwork and how did it go?
So I found a guy. This was when affiliate marketing was still huge. So this guy had a lot of, Amazon affiliate websites in different niches, and he needed
Mhm.
somebody to write for him.
Mhm.
And I was just writing the text for the platforms and the website. So it was nice. I mean, I went from zero income to small income for myself. I was still a student back then, so it was pretty cool just at home.
Mhm.
And that lasted quite a while actually, like more than a year. And but yeah, then it snowballed from there.
That's cool. It's an interesting first show. Awesome. And obviously, 9 years have passed and you have a huge freelance profile as well as, Array Consulting which is a growing agency profile. I already see you guys have over 10K earned, so that's really awesome. What advice can you give for optimizing your Upwork profile?
Right. So as I was saying, things were very different back then. Nowadays, I find it way more important to have a niche, like just focus on the one thing. And that's one of the things that I've learned with you guys from the creator. I used to have an all over the place profile because I wanted to, cater to many different people, and I was not getting any replies at all. And
Yeah,
since I've converted my profile to just one narrow single thing, I'm getting way more replies again. So that's the most important thing, I guess.
That's what I hear from every successful agency owner is like you just gotta you gotta pick your niche and just be hyper focused and super
Mhm.
targeted on it. That's literally what everybody says. People that have done like over 1 million on their agency account are like just find your thing and just laser focus on it. So it's cool to see that you're on that same trend line as well. And besides the profile is also as important are the cover letters or the bids. So what tips can you give for writing winning bids on Upwork?
So I think, well, I'm posting a lot of job posts myself because I'm trying to scale the agency and so on. And what I noticed is that most freelancers who apply don't seem to read the cover letter, like the proposal at all. They just send a random cover letter that's not tailored at all. So if you can find the time to actually write something that's relevant, and I try to include questions, for example, that might make the client, think about something or prompt them to reply. I try to
Yeah.
include their name all the time, but it's, yeah, basically make it a bit more human. That's funny
Mhm.
because we're talking about automation here, but even with automation, you can try to make it more human. Don't just copy and paste the template because that doesn't work.
Yeah, as a person that sometimes looks for freelancers and or agencies on Upwork, I read these cover letters that are like, "Dear hiring manager, I have read,"
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm like, "Okay, next." Like I don't even read them. But yeah, I also think another important thing is to keep it pretty short. Like you don't want to make it like an essay because most people don't have the attention span to read it, right? So the length also probably matters. You want to keep it like, I don't know, a few hundred
Yeah,
words
I
at
don't know.
max.
I've experimented with both approaches, and actually, for me, I think longer ones tend to work better. But
Really?
not like, yeah, but maybe like two or three paragraphs explaining why you might be a good fit and past
Hmm.
experiences and so on. And I think that helps a little bit.
I see.
But I guess that's maybe different for everyone.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the niche as well or on this project, right? Like there's a lot of variables, but yeah, that's fair. Besides, writing great proposals and having a great profile, once you actually start communicating with a potential client or leads, kind of what are some of your best practices for communication with the clients on Upwork?
The one thing I'm finding now, and I've been guilty of not doing this actually, and it's been a game changer for me, is following up. So a lot of the times clients might forget about you or they might get busy with something else. So it helps to have a couple of, follow-up templates or ideas and just stick with it. Because I feel like as freelancers, we might feel like we're bothering people if we ask them too many times.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, as long as they don't say no, I think we should keep following up, and that really helps to
Yeah.
close clients that might have been lost.
Yeah, the key for sales is always just following up until you've pissed them off so much that they go with you
Right.
or blacklist you. So, but yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I totally agree. Follow-ups are huge for lead gen and for sales as well. As we know, Upwork is a very competitive marketplace at this point, right? There's tons of agencies, tons of freelancers all trying to win jobs. How do you differentiate your agency from other agencies in a competitive marketplace like Upwork?
Well, now I think it's a bit easier because I already have a pretty good profile. I've been top rated plus for over a year, and I was top rated for like 5 years before that. I have a lot of projects and 5-star reviews and so on. But when I was getting started, and I think that's the most difficult part, you need to focus on reviews. Like even if you have to work for near free or like almost no money or whatever, if you get a bunch of 5 stars reviews, uh, that's huge. And also you can see it when you look for freelancers, you also see their score and the amount of jobs that they've completed in a single niche. And
Hmm.
that's usually, I think, the deciding factor.
You know, when you do you think in the review it matters if there's like also the text, like kind of an explanation of why they left a 5-star review, or is just seeing the 5-star review like good enough?
I mean, it is better if it has a text, and even better if the text has the keyword that you want to run for, in my
Yeah.
experience. So if you're doing web design like I am, I always tell my clients to include something like, yeah, we wanted a web design expert, and I think that helps a little bit.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I don't have the statistics on how much that helps, of course.
They're always updating their algorithm, but as the more the keyword is centralized around your profile, whether it's in the profile copy or in the reviews or in your cover, like, yeah, it matters. It should be everywhere. So I think you're totally right there. Brilliant. Okay, so I think we can move on to the GigRadar specific questions. Before GigRadar, what did your lead gen process look like on Upwork?
I was going through a rough patch on Upwork. I do have other avenues of clients, of course, and other ways to find them. Uh, so over the last couple of years, as I was saying, I used to receive a lot of proposals without doing much, just because I was ranked. And then suddenly that stopped. Like, I think they changed the algorithm or something.
Hmm.
And it was really a matter of days. I stopped getting proposals, like suddenly. So I was sending proposals myself here and there, but I didn't really have the time to do it. And I think over the last year before GigRadar, I hadn't really worked that much on Upwork. I was thinking of just abandoning it completely. So
Hmm.
I was in a bit of a, frustrating position.
Did you ever consider getting like a virtual assistant or anyone to bid on your behalf before you heard about GigRadar, or did you always personally
Yeah,
decide
to be
just
honest, I didn't know you could do that. Like, because I thought you had to give them access to your account, and I know that's completely against the terms of services
right?
for Apple. And I thought, like, yeah, if I was thinking of hiring somebody, but I thought, yeah, I have to give them my credentials, and then they might steal my money or they might do something. I didn't know you could create an agency and actually have somebody apply through that. So
Right.
I actually discovered that for you guys.
Yeah, that's what a lot of freelancers that are like skeptical about going towards an agency account don't know is that like it does take a lot of time to lead gen. Like there's no way around it. You have to, read offers and use filters and write cover letters. All that takes time,
No, it's crazy. That takes a lot of time, of course.
right? And if you're kind of like a small house, you don't have all that time to be doing all those things. Why did you decide to try GigRadar?
Well, basically, you said it yourself because it takes forever. I was trying some other tools. There are some tools that so they don't apply on your behalf, but they send you a notification when a new job post is created that's
Hmm.
relevant for you.
Okay.
I tried that, and then I was going crazy with notifications on my email, so that didn't help at all. Like
Yeah.
all the other tools I tried to use, they actually took up more of my time.
Hmm.
So that was the opposite of what I wanted. And then I talked to you guys and you said how the process works and it was fairly automatic. Of course, there's still some work involved on my end, replying to clients and so on.
Hmm.
But so yeah, let's give it a try. I mean, Upwork has been great for me in the past and I wanted to give it another try. And I've been with you for 9 months, I think, something like that.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Did you see instantaneous success, or did it take some time, like tinkering with the scanners and keywords and stuff like that, before you were able to find kind of like a working formula for the scanners?
No, it was a bit frustrating at the beginning, because I think it was mostly my fault in terms of the niche, and my profile was not very optimized.
Hmm.
So I was getting replies, like a
Hmm.
lot of them. That was from day one,
Hmm.
but a lot of them were not really relevant, or the pay was not great, and then I was spending a lot on connects, and I was not sure if it was worth it or whatever. But I was working with your support team and they helped me a lot with optimizing my profile, optimizing the scanners and so on. And that really helped.
Do you have any unique success stories that were made possible through using GigRadar?
Well, not necessarily. I think it's helped me basically do the same that I was doing, but better and at
Hmm.
scale, which is, for me. It's not like it's, allowed me to do something completely different. But for example, I guess the most important stuff is that, um, so websites are not very difficult to sell for some reason. Like if you approach somebody with a cold email or something, you can sell
Hmm.
other stuff, but websites are impossible to sell that way. So
Hmm.
I've been able to really increase my revenue doing websites with Upwork, and that's helped me hire a designer. I have some people helping with the technical stuff as well, and that wasn't an option before I started working with him.
Fantastic. That's really cool to hear. How has your Upwork agency like kind of grown in terms of revenue since you started using GigRadar? Have you seen like an exponential growth, or was it more linear, or just any words about that?
Yeah, it's been more linear, 100%. So the first months, I was actually, as I was saying, I wasn't very happy. I was basically just covering costs. So I was
Hmm.
working, but I was just paying for the tool and I was paying for connects and so on. I think at some point, I was sending like 1,000 proposals per month.
Oh
And so
wow, that's a
that's
lot. Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, I think I was spending like $2,000 per month on connects.
Right.
Um, yeah, because I was not getting as many replies. But after I optimized it, now I'm like the amount of connects I need to spend have decreased like immensely. I'm spending like a third or a fourth of that
Hmm.
right now, and I get more replies than I used to. So I wouldn't know exactly how many, but yeah, I think in the last year. So I've been doing this for I think since September. I think earn like $30,000 just
Nice.
to post or something like that. I mean, it's not crazy numbers like the $1 million
Yeah,
they were saying earlier.
sure,
Hopefully
but
I'll get
still,
there, but
yeah,
it's a, yeah, I mean, it's a good chunk of income.
for sure. I'm just personally curious, like when you were seeing kind of those frustrating results in the first month and you were spending a lot of money, like did you consider like giving up the tool or did you kind of understand that maybe, you just need to spend some more time like tinkering and tuning it? Like what was your mindset towards it?
Now I was definitely thinking of giving up on the tool,
Mm-hmm.
but then I was talking to the success team.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Elena, probably it
Yeah.
was Elena,
Yeah. Yep.
and I was telling her my problems, and she mentioned that you guys have this program to help agencies grow, and then I said like, okay, I'll give this a try. I'll do this program. If it works, then perfect. If it doesn't work, I'll just you know part ways with them, and no harm
Mm-hmm.
I'm done. But it works, which is why I'm
Brilliant.
here. So yeah, I mean that was like night and day. Before the program, I was struggling to get leads for Upwork and to cover costs and so on, and now it's way better.
You're referring to Growth Manager, right? The Growth
Yeah.
Manager program. That's awesome. So you feel that if you were just using GigRadar, probably it wouldn't have had the same result, but being able to have both GigRadar and Growth Manager having like this kind of 1-2 punch really changed the game for you on Upwork, right?
Yeah, but I think it was so that's my personal situation. I think some people might not need the program. It really depends.
Hmm.
But as I was saying, I was all over the place. I had like three different profiles, completely different niches. I was not really focusing on one narrow thing.
Yeah.
That's what they helped me with the most, and that I mean that made all the difference basically.
That's awesome. That's cool to hear. All right, and one final question. How do you see the future of freelance work on platforms like Upwork evolving, especially with the integration of AI into the world? Let's call it.
I mean, well, there will come a point where nobody will need a website because a robot will do it for them. So I don't know what's going to happen then. But until then, so I think all of these tools are just tools, and you can either use them and stay on top, or I mean, I know some people are like, yeah, I want to do this manually, and that's fine. But I think they're going to lose the competitive edge if they don't use or
Yeah.
do something.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You either get with the times or you fall behind. And like, yeah, you either use them or you get left in the past. So brilliant. And that was actually my last question. So Alejandro, before we do sign off here, do you have any final words about, GigRadar or Upwork in general, or maybe some final things you'd like to tell our audience? Just final thoughts.
Right. So I mean, just a piece of advice. If you guys watching this are trying to grow on Upwork, if you have some results already and you don't have the time maybe to scale, this tool might be great. Might require a little bit of fine tuning before it works as it is intended to, but yeah, it's really helped me. If you're starting out, maybe try to figure out your niche and your offer first, but after you have that down, then it can be super helpful.
Brilliant. Alejandro, thank you so much for your time. Guys, thank you for watching, and I wish you all a great day.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much for having me.